which is a preliminary engineering report for flood mitigation for the Mission Gardens lift station, which is the wastewater lift station at Soka Way in Mission Gardens. In 2023, if you recall, we had major flooding in that area, which nearly inundated the lift station. This particular instance caused roughly $12,000 or $14,000 of damage. Any more significant storms would cause probably hundreds of thousands of dollars of damage, not only to our facility, but to neighboring homes. This project is the initial step in applying for grant funding to build some sort of a mitigation project based on the initial design effort to identify alternatives, create the preliminary engineering report, which is all necessary to move forward with any sort of permanent design and construction.
Okay. Comments?
No comments at this time, Mr. President.
Director Quigley?
So from what I'm understanding, this amount is just for essentially the planning and the design, not, and then to get the grant funding, like you were saying, but gosh, it just seems like everything's so expensive.
Yeah, this is essentially to get to do the research, to do the alternatives analysis, do the preliminary environmental work, preliminary design work, to come to a solution which could be carried forward. It is quite a bit of money. It is more than I anticipated.
Did you have bids?
So we had a pre-bid meeting, 2 firms attended, and then those 2 firms collaborated to provide this.
Oh, yeah, I think I read that. Okay, no other comments?
Director Owens?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I don't know if you remember but I went down there with you shortly after the damage on that lift station. And I think he was talking then, so I don't know why you need to spend $99,000 on somebody to engineer it. What your plan was, and I agree, the entire enclosure, you just build a wall so the water can't get in there. That's exactly what you told me, Kelly.
Yeah, and that most likely is the solution at the end of it.
Yeah, well, why do we need to pay somebody $99,000 to design, build a 3 or 4 foot high wall around, what is that enclosure, what, maybe 18 by 20 or something like that?
Well, it's bigger than that, and the wall would be roughly 9 feet tall.
Yeah.
But it's not as simple as just plopping a wall down. You have to do the engineering, you have to do the environmental work. There's a lot of pre-work that has to be done before you spend actual money designing something. It does seem like a lot of money, and it is a lot of money, but in order to pursue other grant funds to pay for that kind of wall, you have to have this work done. It goes back to a comment that was made earlier tonight by Mr. Greywall, where you have to play, basically you're just doing what they want. Well, unfortunately, for us, we don't have enough money to just pay for a $500,000 or $600,000 wall. So what we have to do is we have to play the game. We have to do the preliminary work, which is all relevant to the end work, so it's not wasted. You do the preliminary work, you get all the initial environmental work done, you get all the initial design work done, and you have the alternatives analysis proving that, building a wall in this case is the best alternative, as opposed to moving it or building a dike or a levee of some sort. And then you take that and you prove to the state this is what we're doing, this is why we're doing it, and you can ask them for money. Or if FEMA comes along, like they did last time, and they say, well, we can give you money, but you need to do it right now, then we're ready right now. So again, this is one of those projects that's probably not going to be completed without some sort of outside funding, but this is the first step to get there. It lends to what we normally work towards here, which is having shovel-ready projects that are already vetted in order to get a better place in the line, per se, and try to get as many things paid for San Miguel that the citizens don't have to pay for. If you guys recall, Mission Gardens is their own, those 60 houses that are there are the only ones that use that lift station. So if we were to say, well, we're going to build a wall for $500,000 today, if we had to go do that, then those 60 houses would have to pay for that. And I don't live there, but I sure as heck don't want to pay for that.
Well, like I said, that's a lot of money. I think I'm not saying it doesn't have to be engineered, but that's a lot of money for basically a block wall or even if you poured a solid cement wall around there, that's a lot of money just for the engineering.
Yeah, no, I agree.
What I'm trying to say is maybe you ought to check with another company to engineer it.
Well, part of our problem is that we have to go out for competitive bids on projects, and if one company provides a bid, then that's the bid we get. We can change the project and put it back out, but it doesn't mean that that's not the price you're going to get next time too.
Never know.
So there is a small light at the end of the tunnel on this one, is that USDA, who is offering funding for this project, may be reducing some of their requirements, which would reduce the amount of work that has to be done. And in that case, I don't know what the reduction would be, but I did not get confirmation that they'll accept that before this meeting, so I couldn't come up with a number of what it would be. So at this point, we're requesting $99,755, with the understanding that it should be less than that, but it won't be more than that.
Well, I think we should table it until the December meeting and then discuss it again.
It's the board's direction. If that's what the board wants to do, then that's what we can do. So is there any other board comment?
I have a comment. I know that things like that have to be engineered to specs, and there's a liability if we don't, something happens with that down there and it's just put up there and fails, and then we're in for a big lawsuit if that doesn't happen. So I'm for having something engineered and according to the specs from the state. Okay, let's go back to, you want a table? Is that what you're asking now?
Right, until December, but...
Board comment.
Public comment,
Yeah,
sorry.
let's get public comment and then you go ahead.
No, I'm gonna explain it. I didn't say I didn't want it engineered. I understand.
No, that's just my comment.
Yeah.
You made your comment, I made my comment.
Yeah.
All right. So, public comment? Either one. All at once, whatever you want to do.
Has the county been addressed over this? They're the ones that permitted a developer to build homes in a 100-year floodplain. So when you're talking about doing things to spec and then having it fail, I would say that just landed in the county's hands. So the flip side of the coin is, did the contractor disclose to the homeowners down there that they're in a 100-year floodplain? I mean, that's not the first time that's flooded down there. It's the first time in some of your knowledge, but people that have lived here for a long time know that that goes underwater every now and again. And that should have been thought about before any of those houses were built, especially the placement of, I mean, you got to put the lift station at the lowest spot. I get it, but that's on the county, so.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. I agree with the last speaker. There's 60 homes and they're somehow going to be charged for this? who allowed this to happen in the first place? If this was approved and allowed in the first place, then whoever approved it is responsible for fixing it. It's not up to the homeowner that bought in there, that thought they were getting a good deal, and that everything was dialed in. It belongs to the people. We don't have any accountability in this county anymore, or the state. Oh, I'll approve this because I was appointed by so-and-so or voted by so-and-so. And then after they screw up, well, not my problem, some other guy's problem. No. Whoever approved this project from the very beginning to put the lift station in the bad place, that created the problem, needs to pay for the problem. End of story. Oh, I hope I didn't speak to that.
That would be interesting.
Committee board, I agree with both previous speakers. Small number of those ones were built by wealthy developers. Majority of them are being put in place through people's self-help, people that don't have a great deal of money who bought in there. Most of them built their own homes. They don't have the money to pay for a $99,000 study or engineering or whatever. And maybe I'm missing something here, but didn't the Wallace Group just hold you all ransom for $400,000, $1 million deal? They added $40,000, $20,000 if they wouldn't continue work. You didn't pay it. Why don't you tell your attorneys that's a breach of contract? Not pay $400,000 extra dollars. Now you're talking about contracting with them again for another $100 grand? What am I missing? So they screwed you for $400,000. Oh, I know. Let's pay them another $100,000. What a great idea. That's retarded. That's the most ludicrous thing I've ever heard. Secondly, you don't need to accept the one proposal you received. It's an RFP. At your discretion, you can say, we don't want to use any of them. We have decided we don't want to take any of those bids. Put it back out there. There are other companies, you don't have to work with Wallace Group just because they're the ones that proposed. And rewarding them with another contract when they just put you to screw you for another $400 grand. That's not chump change, folks. It's a lot of money. And you want to give them another $100 grand as a reward for that, I tell them to pound sand if I were in charge of this place. I'm not. However you are, and I hope you guys think with some reason.
May I make just one more quick comment?
You already had your comment there.
I know, may I make one more? I just want to let you guys know something about, maybe you don't know, about the Wallace Group. We fired them, like, I don't know, 15 years ago, when they got their butt in the ringer, doing all the illegal deals.
If I let you have a second, I'm going to let
I
everybody
just think
have
you
a
guys should know that.
Okay.
I know it, John.
Any other public comment? What's the board's pleasure?
If I just may say one thing, I do also agree with everyone that it is a big price tag, especially for that neighborhood. I also, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to-
No, I'm sorry.
But I also do want to agree with the fact, we did, I was on the same board with John when he was a director. And I remember that we went out to a different company. That's how we ended up with Dr. Reilly. The problem again with small districts is you put stuff out to bid repeatedly. I mean, I don't know how many projects we've gone at this point, and how many come back as one bid. And can you remind me again how far out we put out these bids? Are we looking at just the county? Are we looking at the state? Like, how far out is our net going on all these things?
Well, basically at this point, it goes statewide based on our purchasing policy going statewide. So it gets out to a lot of people.
And that's something if we're doing that, right? Or assuming that we're doing that on that's our center of policy, as you say. Yeah. So, I don't know what to say at this point. It's like, do you spend the legal money, go down, go fight the county again and again and again, which has been done for 30 years, and the county never gives us anything. I mean, I swear, it's like going in circles every time. You got one bid. The bid doesn't do a good job. You got one engineer. The engineer doesn't do a good job. The county started the project. Well, the county didn't do a good job. The county put up roadblocks again and again and again for 30 years. I just, I mean, I don't know what to say. So, this whole entire thing, it's expensive, but but there's not really any better choices. Because I'm spending a bunch of legal money again, and again, and again. This is ridiculous.
Well, as I stated a minute ago, and Mr. Sangster commented on, so this is the proposal we got from the people who provided, or the one company that provided one. We could put it back out and try to get something else. It doesn't mean that we're actually going to get something else. So we could put it back out there and see what happens. Or the board can elect not to do it at all.
And we've done that before. And we've gotten the same bid again.
Yeah,
And
sometimes it goes higher.
It's a circle.
So,
I guess I'm frustrated with it because, this is the way it's going for a lot of projects. And it's been going this way for this district. And I hope that staff can figure out something to get more competitive bids in the future. But I'm just frustrated again. That's all.
so when was the last time that flooded?
2003, or 2023.
So well, no, I don't mean that. I mean, since it was installed, how often has it been flooding?
Well, that's the only time it's flooded, but that's the most rain that we had. I mean, we haven't had, in the entire time I've worked here, it's not come out of the banks. But if you talk to the people who live here their whole lives, it's flooded like every 20, 30 years.
Right.
And
So-
sometimes much, much worse.
Yes, I mean, I have heard that before. I mean, my feeling is that either do one of two things, do nothing or get another bid. That's my feeling on that, just because it does feel like that is a lot of money regardless of the grant situation, that, to do what's necessary there. So that's my thought.
So we can definitely put it back out there.
Any other comments?
Not for me.
I just feel if we put it out there again, and it's just like with everything else, price is gonna go up. But I hope we find some other people to bid on it so we can be competitive, So what does the board wanna do?
I'd like to
You
make
have
a
a
motion.
motion.
I'd like to make a motion.
You already had one.
Thank you.
Well, you won.
Yeah.
Doing your job.
Mr. Green.
I'd appreciate it if you wouldn't yell out from the audience, all right? Okay.
Can I make a motion?
Certainly.
I make a motion to table this for further discussion later on.
So table it to next month, next year, what would you prefer?
Next year, December, January, whatever. Actually,
Or do you want another bid?
no.
Okay.
Until there's more discussion and more research done on it, because basically, the way I see it, Mr. Dodds, he took the first bid, that came in without, so anyway, I make a motion
Well, I think it was the only bid.
to table it for further discussion down the line. Make it December, January, I don't care.
So as is for further discussion, or do you need something else when it comes back?
Yeah, I'd like to, well, just as is, but I think we need to do more discussion and research on it.
Okay, so we have a motion to table this until December or January. Do we have a second to table it to December or January?
Can we get a more specific motion, either December, can you pick one of those months so we have a specific motion?
Okay, January 2025.
Okay, so we have a motion to table it to January 2025. Do you have any takers? I don't see a second. Do we have a different motion?
So I'd like to motion to put it out for additional bid. And if it comes back in December, January, February, whenever it does, that's fine.
So if we
But just
put
to
it,
get more, okay, I'm sorry.
oh, sorry. If we put it out now, let's say we put it out by the end of October, it wouldn't come back to the board until, it wouldn't come back until January anyway.
Okay. So that's my motion.
So we have a motion to recirculate the ARPA.
Can we need to we need to specifically reject the bid that came in and direct staff to recirculate.
So then I guess we need a motion to reject the proposal.
And recirculate.
You could do it all in one motion, but you do need to formally reject this proposal if you want to rebid.
Okay, so I will motion to reject this bid and put it out for further bid. And the reason why I want that is just so that we have more information. Because information is, more is better than less, so.
Yep.
And then once it comes back in January, the new board can decide its pleasure on which way it wants to go. If it wants to then accept one of the new bids that comes in, or, go, it's like.
Okay, is that a second?
Now a second.
Okay, so we have a first and a second.
To formally reject this bid and go out further.
And
Huh?
reject the bid and recirculate.
And recirculate. By Director Gregory, seconded by Director Calvin.
Yeah.
Director Calvin?
Yes.
Director Gregory?
Yes.
Director Davis?
Yes, but with a condition. It does not come back until January.
It wouldn't be able to come back until January.
All right, thank you.
There's not enough time.
Yes.
Okay, that's not a formal part of the, okay. Is that a yes, Davis?
Are you amending your motion?
No?
No, okay. Director,
I'm sorry, I just want to make it clear, you can't change somebody's motion once you're already going to the vote, just for future reference. You can't put conditions on a motion. It'd have to be withdrawn and the whole thing would have to be done again. So,
put the timeline.
Sorry. Yes.
Yes.
Director Smiley?
Yes.
4-0 with one absent.
To reject it and recirculate it. Just for clarification.
Yes.
I don't see it until January.
I'll drag my feet just for you.
Yes. Thank you.
So moving on to item 10.5.
Purchase of replacement well chlorine and turbidity monitoring equipment and budget adjustment by resolution 2024-55, 3/5 vote approved.
This item is to review and approve resolution 2024-55, authorizing the general manager to negotiate and purchase replacement well chlorine and turbidity monitoring equipment and authorizing associated budget adjustments. So all three wells are chlorinated for disinfection. All three wells have the same analyzer, which basically they're all the same age and are no longer supported. Two of those analyzers have decided that they no longer want to work with us, and unfortunately we can't find replacement parts for them, so we have to replace them. This is not a budgeted thing that we had planned on in the beginning of the year. Definitely not planning on replacing all of them at the beginning of the year. So the primary driver of this is to authorize a budget adjustment for the total amount of $52,500, which amounts to $17,500 for each of the three wells. So each well would be replacing the existing chlorine analyzer. Two of the wells that have turbidimeters would be replacing those turbidimeters, and then one new turbidimeter at the San Lawrence Terrace well. We're required to have chlorine analyzers and turbidimeters at the wells to monitor chlorine levels and turbidity to maintain our compliance with our permit through the state of California.
Director Calvins?
No comments at this time, Mr. President.
Director Gregory?
You said that 2 are not working, of the 3 wells?
So the third one sort of works, but 2 of them are very unreliable.
Okay.
And part of the problem with them being unreliable is that reading low will shut off the well, reading high will shut off the well. And on a cost aspect, if it's reading low and we check it, and we turn up the chlorine to compensate for it, then we're wasting chlorine. So that has a cost effect to it when you're just doubling the amount of chlorine that you're putting in. We're not exceeding any limits by any means on the high end or the low end, but they're becoming less and less reliable, and we are having more and more trouble with them.
Okay, that's all.
Director Davis?
Kelly, you give a price of how much per well it's gonna cost to do this, didn't you?
Yes, $17,500
Per well?
per well.
Okay. Any other comment? Public comment on this? Approach the deck room.
The board. Question is, does the one semi-functional unit and the 2 non-functional units have any monetary value or surplus so that you can recoup some of your investment of the $17,500 per well by selling off the whole units? That's all.
I'd like to know why this vendor doesn't want to work with this district anymore. Does the public get to understand why?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, I thought you said that they no longer want to.
No, they don't make that product anymore.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said that they didn't want to.
Oh, no, they'd love to work with us.
Okay, great, perfect, okay. So, my only concern is, item 5, item 6, item 7, item 8, item 9, I know we're only talking about 5 here, but you have 5 items in a row requiring a budget adjustment. Somebody's not doing their job.
Any other public comment? Board?
I'll motion to approve.
Second.
A motion on the floor by Director Gregory to approve Resolution 2024-55, seconded by Director Calvins. Vote. Director Davis?
No.
Director Calvins?
Yes.
Director Gregory?
Yes.
Director Swiley?
Yes.
Passes 3, 1, and 1 absent.
So just for clarification, I guess response to one of the public comments, we can sell these as surplus. I'm sure they're useful to somebody because they don't make these anymore and they made a lot of them over the years. I don't know what kind of value it would bring, but it's better than nothing.
Moving on to item 6, contract award for Specialty Construction, Inc. for $389,820 for San Miguel Alley, number 6020 water line relocation project, and approve related budget adjustments and transfers by resolution 2024-49, approved by 3/5 vote.
This item is to authorize general manager to issue notice of contract award and execute a contract in the amount of $389,820 with Special Construction Inc. for San Miguel Alley number 86020 water line relocation project, and approve related budget adjustments and transfers by resolution 2024-49. Several years ago, the board authorized application for funding from Integrated Regional Water Management Authority, or Integrated Regional Water Management Group, I guess. And the district was awarded $300,000 for this project that at the time it was, the estimates were within that $300,000 or close to it. However, when this went out to bid in August of 2020, or August 23rd of this year, the engineer's estimate was $400,000 for the same work that was roughly $300,000 a couple years ago. We held a pre-bid meeting, although I don't have it on the report here, but I think 12 or 15 different companies showed up to that meeting. 2 of them provided proposals. Those proposals are shown in the report, but Specialty Construction's proposal was for a total of $389,820. RCH Construction, their proposal was $587,523.90. This project is actually 3 separate sections that are bid separately and can be combined. So Specialty Construction's total is the $389,828. However, the board could elect to only do section 1, do section 1 and section 2, or do all 3 sections. The first section costs $204,659. 1 and 2 together is $341,643. And then, like I said, all 3 sections are $89,820. Essentially what this project is, if you don't recall, is 860 feet of 8-inch piping that will be replacing 2 parallel lines, one 3-inch and one 4-inch, that we generally have had issues with and that are undersized for fire flow purposes, in addition to all the repairs that we had made to those sections over the years. So part of this request would be, 1, to approve the contract. The second is a budget adjustment, which would be for the total amount $388,820. $89,820 would be paid through operating cash through the rate revenue.
Thank you. Director Calvin?
No comments at this time, Mr. President.
Okay, Director Gregory?
How much would it be if we just did the 2 sections?
So if you did section 1 and section 2, that's $341,643.
$341,000?
Yeah.
Okay.
So essentially the first block is 200,000 plus. The second block by itself is, 137,000 and some change.
Okay. So you're not saving, you're not getting to where you need to be under that grant, or that